there was a commonality with so many of these doctors, but nobody was doing 2 or 3 of them together. They were always doing one. And I never really thought about any of that until we began to bring these technologies in, because I was starting to go, okay, they're doing something interesting. I'm going to start buying the best of those. So I started buying this equipment and started playing with it. And before you know it, we have oxygen, we had light, and we had PMF. And one day I went to the gym and my trainer was working with me, and I stacked the leg press. I mean, all the weights on it. And he says, what's going on here? I said, I don't know. I suddenly feel really strong. Did someone change the pulley system? Am I being pumped? I can't possibly be able to lift this much weight. And I thought, what did I do differently that day? I'm skipping a lot of stuff here. I did magnetism, PEMF, right? Which is like earthing or grounding. I did exercise with oxygen. I happened to have an oxygen system at the time. And then I did light therapy in a full body light bed. And suddenly I have this superhuman strength, and my heart was pounding out of my chest. I said, that's the only thing I've done differently. I did it in that order today, because the way I normally do it, the equipment isn't where it needs to be for me to do it in that order. It was serendipity that I was able to pull that off. And I stopped doing it for a week, tried to lift those weights again, and I was a complete weakling. I mean, I was back to, half the stack. I was like, this is crazy. So I went back and I dialed it in. I actually took sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium to kick PMF into higher gear, right? I alkalized the body. Then I did oxygen. Then I did light, and I took some D-ribose as well, because that's a type of sugar that's going to help produce adenosine triphosphate, our energy chemical. And boom, I was as strong as an ox, and my heart began to pump out of my chest. And I said, I just figured out how to potentiate light. Because it wasn't the PMF and the oxygen, it was the light. So we took the mechanisms of action of light, and we figured out how to optimize them.
Hope you enjoyed those highlights from this week's episode of the Thrive State podcast. If you want to check out the full episode, go to Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are heard. Now, if this podcast has given you value, you could really support us by giving us a 5-star review at ratethispodcast.com/Thrive State. Also, if you haven't already picked up a copy of my book, Thrive State, you can get free chapters if you go to thrivestatebook.com. And if you love the content, you want to go a little bit deeper with me and my team, take the Thrive State Accelerator. It's the exact program I use to get my clients into the Thrive State. That's kienvu.com/accelerator, and use the coupon code podcast25 for 25% off. Thank you again for being a part of this journey and for listening to these podcast highlights. Get more content on my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn at KienVuMD. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. And remember always, you are your best medicine.